After almost 10 years in real estate investing, especially in the short-term rental Airbnb space, here are my top 10 mistakes I see all Airbnb operators make. My name is My Broker Matt. I have 51 properties and I co-host for an additional 36 units. With everything I've seen over the last 10 years of investing, I've realized there's some things that I could have learned a lot earlier and then a little bit along the journey, and especially now as a pro. Man, if I would have only taken this advice, I could have easily tripled my portfolio. I could be at 150 units plus. And so I'm going to share with you the key things that you can take away right now to change your business forever.
Ray, you're doing it wrong.
Literally double or triple your portfolio after you hear some of these mistakes. And I'll tell you this, the first ones are a newbie level, but as we get to the end, the last three are pro level. Sometimes you can't see the forest through the trees, but I'm telling you, after almost 10 years of real estate investing, these last three are really going to hit. Number one, being over-reliant on Airbnb. You can't see it now, and yes, it's a great platform to start on, but Airbnb can have sometimes way too much control over us as property owners and co-hosts. What you need to take from this lesson is diversify your income not only on Airbnb. That can be direct booking, that can be Vrbo, and a few other websites that are out there. You never want your income to be vulnerable to Airbnb. Case in point, one time we had one property get lied on saying that we had cameras all throughout the house. And what happened?
Camera? What's he want?
They ended up shutting down all of our listings for the next week just because of a lie. We ended up proving that lie to be otherwise. But what's crazy is that person had 0 reviews. We had over 1,000 5-star reviews. So yes, Airbnb can screw things up, so you always want to have a backup plan. Number two, thinking bad reviews can completely ruin your listings forever. You don't need to be excessively worried about a negative review crushing your soul. Trust me, I've been there.
Yep.
While bad reviews are going to continue to happen, they won't break you. And what's better, a lot of these reviews can be contested and removed as long as you can prove that in some way, shape, or form, the guest was faulty, lied, or inaccurate on what they tried to get you for a negative review. Anything that's not true can almost always be removed. Number three, not understanding that a quality design can lead to much higher ROI. Guys, hear me out on this one. I'm telling you, you definitely are gonna underestimate this, especially on your first couple, because why? You're like, oh man, I got tight assets. How am I gonna put a bunch of capital into furnishing when I don't even know if this project is gonna work out? The truth is, more people will skimp on their first design and they will crush their own ability to do well in this business. If you're trying to drive across state in your car, you don't fill up your car with only a quart of tank of gas, right? You fill it all the way. I promise you, if you just invest in quality designs, you're gonna see it in the ROI at the end of the day. And if not, you're going to realize you need to do a revamp, and it's going to cost you even more just to redo it properly the second time.
Wait, what?
Don't waste your time, don't waste your money. Number four, creative financing confusion. A lot of people simply don't understand all of the lending types that are available, including creative financing, which sometimes will give you the option of bringing less of your dollars to closing, which is a massive benefit, especially if you don't start off capital heavy in investing, which guess what? 99% of us are in that bucket, right? So if you really spend time learning to become a novice or pro in the lending game and creative financing game, your ability to capitalize on any properties that come your way when you want to buy them becomes exponential. Can you imagine doubling or tripling your portfolio just because you know how to close on them, bring in seller financing, maybe do sub 2 deals, and of course, really smart partnership and capital raising? These are all things that people really sleep on, especially in the beginning, because they don't think they know how to do it. But if you have a pro in your corner, they can show you how. Number five, the art of negotiating. When I was a new agent and a new investor, I thought it was so cool. I was like, no, we're not coming up with another 5,000. Are you crazy? We're only giving you this. And you know what? Sometimes, especially in hindsight, I now realize I lost hundreds of thousands of dollars from this. Why? Because some of those areas appreciated 4x in the last 7 years. Don't you think that fight over $5,000 back in the day would have been worth it if I would have 4x my investment just from appreciation alone? Absolutely. The lesson here is sometimes less is more. Don't get caught up trying to squeeze pennies when you're trying to make dollars. Number six, perfect property paralysis. I held myself up for investing for years. Sound familiar?
Nope.
I spent years seeking perfection before I bought my first deal. And you know what? At the end of the day, I lost way more valuable deals than I can ever go back and get. The lesson here is waiting forever for the perfect property is a simple waste of time. The perfect property is probably not going to hit you. And to be frank, somebody like me is going to buy it before you even have a chance. So stop thinking you're going to compete with somebody that has the cash to do it. Typically, what I've seen from a lot of people in the short-term rental space is they end up making $15,000 to $30,000 more in value gained between the appreciation and tax savings on the property alone. That's regardless of the cash flow and presuming a pretty average property purchase. So again, don't get too caught up on buying your first property and worrying about it being a dud, and definitely don't think about how it has to be perfect or great to buy it. Buying a good property is still a win and you're still learning. Number 7, first flip fiasco. I bought it from somebody I've known for over a decade, and I figured, hey, I can trust this guy, right?
Trust me.
Wrong. When I was buying it, I asked them this question. I said, hey, does the city require any repairs on this right now? And for some dumb reason, I decided to trust that person. And what I ended up finding out after I bought it was the property was already condemned by the city, which meant I had a whole other litany of things I had to do just to get this property up and running, way more than I had budgeted for the rehab. So what's the lesson here? Trust, but verify, especially when they're people close to you, because sometimes people will use that relationship to one-up you, and then you can end up with a first flip fiasco. Number 8, saving money for the thief. Sounds stupid. Why would anybody do that? I don't know. Why did I do that? Here's why. I ignored obvious signs that this contractor was not legitimate. After 4 or 5 bids to add a bathroom to one of the houses we were working on, his bid came in the lowest. I thought, oh my God, if this works out, this will be my best contractor ever.
Are you sure?
Wrong, messed up, bad call. The lesson here is sometimes when you're working on cutting costs so aggressively, you end up cutting your own throat. And that completely backfired on me because I spent thousands on this guy to make sure he had rehab materials just to have him not show up and ghost me. Better yet, after a while of trying to search for him, I ended up finding out that the first few images that he showed me of his past work were the first few words that you would Google if you had just typed in bathroom rehab project. Do you know how stupid I felt when I looked that up? What number 9 is the time bomb, the head games and hesitations. I was worried so much year after year about failure. Even after having picked bad properties, things that just didn't cash flow as well as I thought, and some of them I even lost on because they were bad calls on flips, they ended up working out because I ended up holding most of them, and then I started to see how powerful the appreciation and tax savings were.
Power.
Back when I was fully employed, I was in that 30 to 35% tax bracket range, but now we're closer to 10%. And the truth is, even when you have bad properties, you keep lowering your taxable liabilities, and the higher your income goes, as a percentage, you pay less and less taxes over time. That being said, some of my homes I own have gone up by $50,000 to $200,000 in value over the last handful of years. So even the ones that hardly cash flowed, trust me, the appreciation blows that out. And that's when I realized I had a time bomb. I had a bunch of things that I was worried about for the wrong reasons, and boom, I realized over time, I probably lost almost $1 million in equity because of deals I did not buy. And the big one, number 10, the one a lot of you probably already know, and if you haven't done it yet, you're gonna find out right now. Number 10, being mentorless. Yes, not having a coach. I can't even quantify how much money I've lost by not having a coach. I've missed valuable guidance, instruction, and knowledge year after year, not understanding tax benefits, not understanding appreciation, and simply not understanding where I'm gonna really be drawn to put my money in the future.
My mentor taught me everything about the force.
When you don't continue to add knowledge to your plate as you're doing something big, especially as a business owner, you will always lose ground if you're not constantly growing. Even with me as a coach, I've continued to hire additional coaches to continue to improve my financial and business sense while I continue to build all of my businesses. It's kind of like the concept of the flywheel. You focus on one little part of the engine, and bit by bit, it improves all the other parts that are spinning around it. And that's what we do is we have multiple businesses. Each one continues to improve at one point or another. Since I'm attached to all of them, I'm constantly improving. And if you don't have a coach, you definitely want to look into one. Why? Because I promise you, you'll be missing out on millions of dollars of value that you could have earned just because you didn't have the knowledge, confidence, and support that we all should have when we're trying to become excellent entrepreneurs. So that's my top 10 list. I hope it helped. Again, I'm my broker, Matt. I've been investing for 10 years. I've got 51 properties and 36 co-host deals. If you're looking to learn more about short-term rentals, mid-term rentals, or long-term rentals, or general real estate wealth building, reach out to me with any questions. Look forward to hearing from you.